Welcome to Skybridge, your daily dose of gripping news. We uncover bold, bizarre, and breaking stories from criminal cases to celeb scandals. Our channel isn't just reporting, but also deciphering the news with insight and attitude. Real talk on real issues with real-time updates. Subscribe and dive into the story.
Yes, Mr. Nxumalo.
That's it. Yeah.
Brigadier, my questions relate to the subpoena that you referred to yesterday. You said that subpoena, it was in respect of the request for the video clip that was beamed in this court. Is that correct?
This is correct, my lord.
You told this court that that subpoena was in terms of the provisions of Section 205 of the Criminal Procedure Act.
Yes, my lord, but I did also indicate that I did not prepare that subpoena. I am aware of it because I was under cross-examination that such was prepared, it was forwarded to NCA, and I know specifically that the details were in relation to the date of the 27th of October 2014. But I was not the author or the applicant in that, but it was authorized and served, my lord.
Where is that subpoena? Have you had sight?
No, I was informed, my lord. I may have signed electronically, but I see Colonel Roth is not here. But it's something that is available, my lord, because it was served. The video came as a result of that subpoena. So I've had sight of it electronically, my lord. But it can be made available, my lord, because I'm saying I don't have it now, but I know that Colonel Roth and my colleague here, they were dealing with that application. So it's something that we can find. So I don't have it because I didn't deal with that application.
I'm raising this question because it was not provided to the defense. I also don't have it. I did not have sight of that subpoena.
That's a good case, but I don't know what would be the basis on which they are entitled to a witness subpoena. But as Brigadier mentioned, if they want it, we can make it available to them.
My lord, you are entitled to that subpoena. It's just as a subpoena in terms of Section 205 of the Act, as when one applies for records, the cell phone records. So when it comes to a video clip, it's a different story now. But I'll proceed with other questions with the understanding that the subpoena is going to be made available before I complete my cross-examination.
You can make it available.
Yes, thank you. Brigadier, just to set the record straight, in respect of my client, Mr. Mapisa, the contents of the video clip vis-a-vis the statement or the assertions that were made by my colleague, my late colleague, Mr. Mgomezulu, on the 28th of August, 2024, are not relevant in the sense that we have pursued this aspect that he was not at the scene, that is at house number 13511, Kutwanong Street, First Loras.
No, I disagree. That's not what the evidence shows. If you move from the confession made by accused number 2, he implicates accused number 4. If you look at the statements that we dealt with, my lord, composed by Constable Zongo, accused number 4 is implicated. If you look, and I know it's a point of contention, if you look at the DA analysis, even though the conclusion, as I've said, my lord, of the DNA excludes him, but the analysis reads him. There are regions of accused number 4 being read into the DNA that was found inside the house. And that corroborates, find the corroboration in the confession of accused number 2, who says he went in with accused number 3. After the first shot was fired, when he ran out, accused number 4 went into the house. So I can't say he was not there. If you take that evidence in totality, my lord, it places him at the crime scene, my lord. And further, my lord, last on that part, the collaboration is further confirmed in fairness to the other accused, my lord, in that accused one, even in his own confession, says he was standing outside. And indeed, you don't find his DNA inside the house. And that is now independent before our time. It is said in terms of the confession and the investigation that accused 5 was the driver. And indeed, there is no DNA of him. The investigation points to 3 people who may have been inside the house, and that is where the regions, as much as the conclusion is excluding them, but the regions of all three, this is now 2, 3, and 4, is found, my lord, at the crime scene. Yes, my lord, that's my response.
Brigadier, I don't want us to go back to the evidence that implicates my client because we have dealt with this issue under cross-examination. But there is one thing that is worrying me. You are saying that according to your investigations, my client was outside when the incident was taking place inside the house. Is that what you are saying?
I'm saying, my lord, if you look at the confessions of accused number 2 in particular, because that is where accused 3, and I've testified about this, that in the confession of accused number 2, that is where you will find the names of accused 2, 3, and 4 as being the role players in this offense kicks in. And insofar as accused 4 is concerned, to answer the question, is that in that confession, it is said that when the shot was fired, accused 2 ran out. And he says in that confession, my lord, as he ran out, accused number 4 was running into the house. That is contained in the confession. And now I was putting that, my lord, in relation to the DNA that was found in the house, that if you take that confession and you corroborate it with the DNA, the forensic evidence, that seems to find some of the regions, the DNA regions of accused 2, 3, and 4 only. It corroborates, my lord.
Brigadier,
Yeah, the client wants to see you.
may I have indulgence to approach
Yeah.
you? Thank you. Thank you, my lord, for the court's indulgence. Brigadier, my question is very, very simple. Whatever investigations that you conducted, the question is, and it will remain as this, is there, so the evidence that implicates my client that you conducted, the investigations that you did, place my client, Mr. Mapisa, outside the house. It placed Mr. Mapisa outside the house, whatever investigations that he conducted.
No, it places him both inside and outside. Hence I said, my lord, in the confession, it's contained that as accused 2 was going out, running out, accused 4 ran into the house. So that changes the position from being outside to inside the house, my lord. That is why I talk about the corroboration of that aspect.
From the witnesses, Brigadier, please try to confine yourself to the questions. Please try. I know it's difficult for you to do that, but please try to confine yourself to the questions that are being put to you. From the witnesses, Brigadier, that were inside the house, you know them. I need not mention them. Is there any witness who mentions that there was a third suspect who entered the house, except the 2 persons?
My lord, the answer is no. Let me start with the answer. But you see, the problem, the difficulty I'm having is sometimes saying no may give the wrong impression to the court if you don't put the context. Because this no, my lord, has reasons. If one looks at the statement which we disclosed to the defense, after the first shot was fired, people ran out. So you cannot now ignore that fact. I mean, ran to different directions in the house. You can't now, we are not talking about a situation where the first shot gets fired, everyone is standing in the same place. The second shot gets fired, everyone is standing in the same place. If that is a position, then it becomes fair to say no one saw the dead suspect. But when the first shot gets fired and people run to different directions, how could they have seen what happened after the first shot, my lord? Then it becomes, then I can't now say the reason they could not see the third suspect, my lord, is because they ran away after the first shot. Lastly, my lord, in the interest of justice and fairness, I cannot also now ignore, because this is evidence, it's open, has been disclosed to the defense. I can't keep it away from my mind knowing that the DNA analysis that was found inside the house links, even though it's not conclusive, some of his regions DNA of accused 4 is being read. How could I not now? How could I stand there, my lord, and believe that was never in the house? Taking into account the exhibit that I know, taking into account forensic and objective scientific evidence that places part of his DNA inside the house.
So, the understanding, Brigadier, that accused number 4, Mr. Mapisa, entered the house, you got it from the inadmissible confession of accused number 2, which cannot be used against my client.
Yes, the presence of his name, my lord, came in from that confession, and then subsequently investigation was done and other evidence was collected, my lord. I've made mention, for example, of Constable Zungu, for example. But prior to that, my lord, there was already a statement of Kwabeni. It was already sitting in the docket, who also mentions accused number 4.
This understanding that you got from the statement, the confession statement of accused number 2, did you follow it up with the witnesses? Did you obtain any statement? Because I'm raising this, none of the witnesses mentioned this in their statement, even in court, when they were led by my learned colleague for the state. There is no evidence directing to the fact that a third suspect entered the house after the 2 had entered. It's only coming up from you, Brigadier, from your investigation.
No, my lord. I've indicated that's not correct. I've said it comes from the confessions of accused number 2. And my understanding, those confessions forms part of this court's record. It's written there. If perhaps Advocate Nxumalo does not recall, we can go to it. It is contained there. He made a confession first to Lieutenant Colonel Rapado and to Mrs. Cornered, the magistrate. It is contained there where accused 4 is being mentioned as running in when he was running out, my lord.
Brigadier, I'm well aware of the contents of those confessions, but the question is, did you follow it up? Did you investigate it to form evidence alluded to the commission of the offense or to support what is being said in that confession? Did you follow it up with the witnesses? Did you obtain statements to confirm what Nxumalo is saying in his confession as evidence alluded to the commission of the offense? Did you do that?
No, my lord. So when you collaborate, and I indicated when we dealt with a trial, on this main trial, the collaboration I did. The witnesses, and I'll go back, the witness inside the house indicate that after the first shot was fired, they ran away, my lord. Going back to them to ask what happened after that, my lord, how will they know? It's logic, my lord, that they will not know. Because if you look at the confession of accused 2, he indicates that he was inside the house when the first shot was fired. It's only after the first shot that was fired that he runs out, and simultaneously as he's running out, people were running. It's contained in their statements, different to the different directions or sectors of their house. So they will not have known. But insofar as the collaboration, my lord, you find it in the forensic scientific evidence that I'm speaking about, that I knew of 2 people, now the third person is being mentioned, now the analysis of the scientist picks up the third, some of the third regions, as much as they're not 16, but he picks some of them which connect accused number 4 as being the donor of that DNA. That corroborates, my lord, what is being said in the confession of accused number 2. And it's objective evidence because it's scientific. It's not who said, he said. It's only accused 2 who mentions accused 4 as the person who went in. The next collaboration that you find, my lord, is objective and scientific. That is now the DNA.
Brigadier, we now know the roles that were played by the 2 intruders. What role did he play, that is accused number 4, after he had entered inside the house? What role did he play, according to your investigations?
My lord, all we know is that he went inside the house and no one was able to indicate what happened when he went inside the house because accused 2 had ran away at that time and people were inside, ran into different compartments of the house, my lord. Other than Mr. Twala, who ran out, the 2 Twalas actually, both of them ran out. The other one went over the wall and came back. The other one long way ran, I'm not so sure where, but those are the 2 that ran out of the house. Others ran to different bedrooms, my lord. So we don't have evidence that indicates what role he played after he went in, my lord, except that he went in.
So you don't know?
We know he went in, my lord, acting in common purpose with accused number 3, who was inside the house at that stage.
In terms of the role that he played, you don't know?
As a court, please, my lord. Once again, we don't want to interfere with my learned friend's cross-examination, but these are matters for argument. Evidence is before court. These are points that he can argue, at the relevant time. why should this witness, be asked about what the evidence is there against accused number 4? The evidence is on record. These are matters that can be argued. We submit that this is an unfair question to Brigadier Gininda.
So in terms of your investigation, you don't know the role that he played?
My Lord, I indicated we know there was a common purpose. The left prosecution was there together. We know that when accused 2 and 3 went inside the house, he was outside. That is the rule. We know that when accused number 2 ran out, he ran in. What we don't know is what did he do when he was with accused number 3 inside the house. But he went in because accused number 3 was still inside the house, and then subsequent to that, there is evidence in the investigation that 3 people were seen running away after that, my Lord, to the direction of the park, 1 carrying a firearm. So we know he went in. We don't have evidence in terms of the specific role he played when he went inside, but we know the role he played up to the time he went inside the house in support of accused number 3 who was inside the house, my Lord.
In terms of your investigations, Brigadier, how many suspects were wearing the hat, which is a subject matter in this case?
One, my Lord.
That is where my mind is troubled. Then how do you read DNA results from my client in respect of that hat, which was worn by 1 suspect?
My Lord, I'm not a scientist, but my understanding and experience has taught me that you don't have to wear something in order to transfer your DNA. I could be holding this bottle of water. By the time I put it down, my fingerprint and DNA in terms of the sweat is there. So I don't want to speculate, but it will be incorrect to say you actually have to put on the head to transfer your DNA. It can be transferred in various ways. You can bleed, a droplet of blood can go in, but that's not my area of expertise. But to suggest that you have to wear a hat in order for the DNA to be transferred, that's not my understanding. You can transfer it in many ways. You can try to pick it up, and as a result, then you can't pick it up, you touch it, the DNA remains there. Or various methods can transfer DNA, my Lord. Although I'm not a scientist, but I know that, my Lord.
In terms of people or a person placing him outside the house, you don't have any direct evidence. You don't have any direct evidence. You don't have any direct evidence from the witness or persons who saw him standing outside the house.
My Lord, I indicated that the people inside the house, and I'm referring now about people who may have witnessed people, only refer to 2 people who went inside the house, and that is what is contained in their statement. Other role players came up during the course of the investigation, perhaps 2 people or 3 people being seen, but subsequently then the confession of accused number 2 then brings everyone in, corroborated from then. Prior to that, my Lord, only, and that is why I said I've testified without going back, my Lord, that even us at the beginning, including myself, we thought we were looking into a robbery gone wrong of 2 intruders that went in, because that's what the docket was suggesting. But as the investigation came up, then it played this role. So there was no assertion right from the beginning that someone was waiting outside, standing guard, and this is the description. The only description you find is for suspect A and suspect B, who went inside their house, and then this offense was committed, my Lord.